Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with another Destiny 2 video, and today we're going over my top 5 non-crafted weapons from year 6. This will include weapons from quest, world drops, and so on. Just weapons that you don't craft and or have random rolls that I think you should try to get before Final Shape comes out. Of course, some of these are completely random drops, so whether or not you can get them is, up to RNG's, which hopefully he's kind to you in these trying times. But yeah, so although starting off with number 5, we do have one that you can get from a quest, and it is one of my favorite hand cannons in the game, none other than Epochal Integration. This gun is one of the only guns that I know of to have two. This hand cannon has multiple roles. It's similar to Adored, a ritual weapon, and really any ritual weapon you can think of, in the fact that it has 2 different perk combinations, or really you can have 4 multiple perk combinations here, but there are 2 that are good, one for PvP, one for PvE. The one for Crucible, or whatever you prefer doing in PvP, really, is Keep Away Eye of the Storm, because that's just phenomenal for just about any gun, especially a hand cannon. And for PvE, Stats for All Incandescent. You also have the choice of multiple origin traits from Harmonic Resonance, which will allow you to have increased damage against Tormentors, Lucent Hive, Guardians, and so on. And as long as you're also using multiple weapons that are part of the set. Or Nanotech Tracer Rockets, which will turn one of your next shots after landing multiple hits into a rocket that tracks. So yeah, pretty cool in general. I love any gun with incandescent, as if not evident by the previous list, which featured 2 weapons with incandescent in Abyss Defiant and Adhortative. Listen, I love making things explode, and I love fire, so incandescent is just great for ad clear in general, and I just think it's fun. This is a decent PvP gun as well. I think there are some better hand cannons out there, not to mention the fact that Thorn has just been so dominant this season. So yeah, is Sunshot or Zahuli's Bane better than this? Yes. But this isn't a best hand cannon list, although I might do one of those at some point. As far as non-crafted weapons go, Epochal Integration is a fantastic option because it's just fun. Plus, if you just want to switch it up, you're tired of using Sunshot, you're tired of using Zahuli's Bane, listen, this is a great option. It's fun. With that, we turn our attention to number 4 on this list, a weapon that was in the game all the way back during Black Armory Season of the Forge. None other than Breakneck. So with Breakneck's return, we got one of the best perks for any auto rifle in the game, and it would be fun to see this on other weapon types as well, although we probably won't. Like, imagine any SMG with Subsistence Onslaught. Yeah, it would be insane. Or Overflow Onslaught would be cool as well. But for now, we have a couple of auto rifles with Onslaught. The other one will be featured on this list, but Breakneck is number 4, simply because it's, yeah, I have to play Gambit to get it. No, I'm just kidding. Gambit isn't that bad. It's just, again, it's antiquated, and it is cool to have a reason to play Gambit, but man, Gambit is just it's rough sometimes. It's still fun, but it's the same thing. Nothing has changed, and it's worth trying to get a Subsistence Onslaught roll for sure, but once I get it, will I come back? Absolutely not. Again, though it is nice to see a change in just having a weapon that's desirable from Gambit, because most of them are not good at all. In fact, this might be the best one, and that's saying something, because it's honestly not that great. But again, Subsistence Onslaught is fantastic, and I can't wait till I get one. The role I have, the one you're seeing in this gameplay, is Dynamic Sway Reduction Onslaught. So again, I kind of wish I had that. And I will be trying to get it eventually, but I gotta play Gambit in short little spurts, because the pain that it brings me. Man, I wish Gambit Prime was still a thing, because at the very least it was a little bit more competitive and challenging, And yes, regular Gambit can be like that sometimes, but not all the time. And yeah, there are some good PvP perks on this as well. Like I said, dynamic sway reduction. You can also get Adagio, moving target, or tap the trigger in the second slot to go along with dynamic sway reduction. So there are certainly options. I think keep away and moving target wouldn't be a bad roll either. You can also get feeding frenzy onslaught. You could get subsistence kinetic tremors. There are some other options on this, but I truly do think that onslaught is just such a great perk. It does increase the rate of fire for a little bit if you don't know what it is, and with multiple stacks of onslaught for 4.5 seconds, that's how long onslaught will last. And the more stacks you get, the faster this thing goes. It essentially just turns into Atheon's Epilogue, which is an auto rifle from D1. It fired so quickly. I wish I had some gameplay to show you guys. Maybe I'll have to go re-download D1 to get some, but man, it go burr. And this is definitely worth your while yet again. Just as number 3 is. Number 3 on the list, Ross Argo 5, another auto rifle with Onslaught returning to the game. It just makes these guns better and just more fun, I think. Auto rifles, listen, we have great ones like Rufus's Fury that are craftable. We have some exotic ones like Quicksilver Storm, which is arguably the best gun in the game. But it's nice to see some legendary auto rifles that, again, aren't craftable or exotic get some love. And with Ross Argo 5, you can get Repulsor Brace Onslaught. Again, you can get that coveted roll, Subsistence Onslaught. You can also get Rewind Rounds Onslaught if you're looking for PvP, maybe something like Dynamic Sway Onslaught. And you get that Wildcard Origin trait, which spawns those little Telestos submutations, or munitions, or whatever they're called. And those little things will do a little bit of extra damage if they're near an enemy or attached to an enemy. So, you know, that's cool. Again, it just goes burr. I love pairing this auto rifle with your Falcons because you have volatile plus the submutations, plus the gun is just firing really fast. It's fun. It's great. If you have any void build, if you like using Gear Falcons like me, then this is a great gun to get. So again, I definitely recommend that. That brings me to number 2 on this list, which is another void weapon. And I know we're in Season of the Solar, but I will remind everyone to go check out my crafted video where I talk about my 10 best weapons from this year, because there are some really good solar weapons in there. I think that you'll find them there, as again, Adhortative is in there, as well as Abyss Defiant. And if you want to check out that list and again maybe make your own, you can do that as well there, and I highly encourage it. But number 2 on the list is Harsh Language from Season of Defiance. There are so many good wave frames in the game now, and this one is definitely among the greatest. Now, I haven't gotten the role that I want, which is Envious Assassin destabilizing rounds, because that's just fun. Envious and Repulsor Brace might be okay as well, but the ones that I have and the ones that you will see in this footage here, I have one that's Stats for All destabilizing and one that is Wellspring destabilizing. I majorly use the one that is Stats for All destabilizing because I think that's honestly one of the best ones you can get out there. But Envious destabilizing would be fantastic. Again, we have so many good wave frames like Forbearance, Undercurrent, and so on. This one I think is a little underlooked, and it is a world drop. And I also think Field Tested isn't a bad one either. You get increased range, stability, handling, and reload speed after defeating or dealing damage to targets. And you get increased charge rate on your sword and guard resistance as well. So if you wanted to pair this with a sword, you could do that also. Is it the greatest wave out there? No. But as far as non-crafted go, it's definitely number 1 or 2 behind Undercurrent. It's really fun. And again, this is another one I love to pair with Gear Falcons because you're always going to have destabilizing or volatile active. So you're just going to be making things explode left and right. It might crash your PC, but hey, things are going to blow up. So, Merry Christmas. Before we get to number 1, I want to mention our honorable mentions for this list, guns that I highly recommend you get, and a couple of them are for PvP and really PvP only, starting off with Lethal Abundance. And the reason why Lethal Abundance is an honorable mention because, trust me, it is a fantastic auto rifle. I've used it a bunch. If you've used the Half Dan or the Lodbrok C, it is very similar to that. A 360 auto rifle with a bunch of range and really good perks. Mine has a fluted barrel, armor-piercing rounds, keep away, and target lock. It is fantastic. The only reason it's not higher on the list is because the origin trait is specific to PvP only, and it requires you to be at low health. Now that is similar to like an Eye of the Storm perk, but again, any origin trait that requires you to be taking damage or low health in general, which is something you don't want to do, it's not good. It's not good. And there are some decent PvE perks on this as well. You can get Onslaught on it. However, the origin trait isn't good for PvE, so why am I going to use it in PvE when I have Breakneck that has a really, just a better origin trait for Gambit, or Ross Arago, which is just better in every way, shape, and form. Now, if you don't have a Strand Auto like Rufus or Perpetualis, this is a good option. And trust me, for PvP, it's a fantastic option as well. So I do think this is a great weapon. However, I don't think it's the greatest. Next one on the list is one that you've probably seen a lot in PvP recently, Unending Tempest. This SMG can get target lock as well, and it just shreds. It does have the benefit of having a really, really nice origin trait combo. You can have One Quiet Moment, which of course grants increased reload speed and handling when out of combat. And you also have Nadir Focus, which grants you an increase in range and accuracy, as well as lunge distance for swords and projectile velocity for launchers. So it does have good perks here and there. I just think that there are better SMGs out there. Of course, none better than Immortal. Immortal is still really good after a long time. I definitely would recommend Immortal if you can get it. But of course, Unending Tempest is a very good other option for people out there. The third and final one on the honorable mentions is the Koronok Auto Rifle. The last, but certainly not the least one on this list, the Solar Suros Auto Rifle can get Feeding Frenzy Incandescent, or if you're looking for PvP, it can get Zen Moment Target Lock. So yes, there are some good perks on this weapon, indeed, and I would highly recommend getting one if you can. And that is going to set us up for number 1 on the non-crafted Year 6 weapons. Number 1 is the only weapon on this list that comes from a dungeon, and it is, of course, Cold Comfort. Now, I know Apex Predator was quite high up there. I believe it was number 2 on the non-crafted list, but listen, Cold Comfort, I think, beats it in every way, shape, and form. Now, don't get me wrong, Apex Predator is really good, but I do think that Cold Comfort beats it out ever so slightly. The perk combination you're looking for on this is Hard Launch, Impact Casing, Envious Assassin, and Bait and Switch. And what this will allow you to do is use those perks in concert with the origin trait Restoration Ritual, which does the following. It allows you to increase the ammo reserves after reviving an ally or defeating a combatant with a finisher. So it readies an emergency reload. So with Envious Assassin, you're already going to have 3 rockets in the chamber ready to go. No reloading, none of that. So after you release these 3 rockets, you will have an emergency reload ready, which will automatically give you a 4th rocket to shoot. Which means that not only you're going to have Bait and Switch procced after you've done damage with your other weapons, you're going to have 4 rockets to shoot without reloading, and you're going to do massive damage. This is, I mean, it's crazy how good this is, and you just have so much burst damage capability. How can you not use this? Not to mention you can also get Perpetual Motion, Cluster Bombs if for some reason you wanted to use this for PvP, but the PvE role clears just about any rocket in the game as far as damage goes, because just the amount that you can do. Now your damage will be front loaded because it doesn't benefit from having reconstruction like Apex Predator does, but even then, if you're doing a more short damage phase on a damage boss, then again, this just does so well. Apex Predator might shine in a more longer damage phase, like say like Taniks, whereas this rocket might shine more during like a Crota damage phase, or something shorter, maybe like an Orcs one as well. There are example of shorter ones out there, I just can't think of them right now. But any long, or rather short damage phase, Cold Comfort shines. A longer one, Apex Predator, or a linear fusion like Cataclysmic would be better. So yeah, that's my top 5 non-crafted weapons from this year. Again, I just want to remind everyone, these are only weapons from this year, which means from Lightfall to present day. And again, these are all weapons that you cannot craft. You have to either get them from world drops. Again, this one comes from a dungeon in Cold Comfort, or quest like Apocalypse integration. Let me know what you guys think about this list down below. Feel free to insert your own weapons where you think they would be, because listen, again, everyone's gonna be a little bit different, and these are weapons that I use. There might be a couple weapons that I don't have the benefit of having gotten, because again, these are randomly dropped and I don't always get the best rolls. So let me know in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps me out. And just as always, know that you being here and discussing this stuff with me, it's everything I want, and I enjoy doing it so much. So thanks again for that, and I'll see you in the next one.